Good evening all, this is Matthew Nordenholm recording from a coffee shop in Korea. This week, my chapter was SkinnerCH13, What is Inside the Skin? And this chapter focuses on the differences between behaviorism and mentalism. The behaviorist perspective can be summarized with the belief that an individual is who they are as a result of the group they belong to. They are part of a species, subspecies, population who has acquired traits based on contingencies related to genetic changes resulting from phylogeny and ontogeny that resulted from survival techniques. Believers of the mentalist perspective prefer to concentrate on a number of unique characteristics that create a combination of traits specific to one member of a population. We use behavior measurement tools such as the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Index and Cattell's 16 personality factors test to basically understand all of these mentalist properties, all of the different parts and functions of an individual personality to compare them to other people. Whereas a behaviorist can look at environmental contingencies to understand the behavior of an individual. Skinner speaks about why we compare these two things, and he does so by looking at 7 different aspects of it. First up, simplicity. Though, in my opinion, a mentalist perspective is more complex than a behaviorist perspective, the reliability of the outcome of functional behavior analysis may be unpredictable and very convoluted. So basically, even though behaviorist perspective seems much simpler in terms of understanding behavior, like basically a stimulus is presented, we respond, and then a consequence determines whether or not that behavior will continue in the future. There could be many different aspects of what is making the behavior continue. So a functional behavior analysis might lead to something just as confusing as the breakdown of a mentalist point of view. The next aspect was use in control. A mentalist perspective is based primarily on inference. Basically, somebody has a specific personality trait because that's just who they are. So it's difficult to make determination about how to control their behavior if that's just quote-unquote part of who they are, whereas a behaviorist employs the analysis of changing the environment in order to change the behavior. Next, I'll talk about the use in prediction. An individual may say that he or she is acting a certain way because he or she feels like it. A mentalist attributes this to personality characteristics, and even a methodological behavior analyst may also draw the conclusion that the behavior attribute is causing the behavior because it can't be measured in their view. However, a radical behavior analyst believes that behavior can be predicted based on past experience that may have shaped these feelings presently. One must ask themselves, why do I feel this way? Use in interpretation. A mentalist interprets behavior through feelings in a given moment, but a behaviorist can interpret more accurately with understanding an individual's history. If the history is unavailable, behavior can be interpreted through analysis of genetic endowment. Think about hunger. Animals in nature typically eat when food is available in order to survive. As humans, if capable to do so, we try to eat at least 3 times a day. Therefore, it is a specific time. If it's a specific time of day, we may be able to predict when the average person may seek out a meal. So basically, we understand the behaviors of others based on their genetic traits, which eating multiple times a day has enabled humans to survive for a long period of time. So their genetic endowment enables us to predict why they're going to eat when they're going to eat. So how far back do we have to go back into one's history to understand their behaviors? Mentalists tend to answer this question with an explanatory fiction. I did this because I felt like it. To a mentalist, because it does not The word because does not really need to be explained. A behaviorist can better understand the behavior by finding an explanation to because. You can go through the individual's history to better understand why the individual feels a specific way in this very moment by understanding their history. What have they gone through in the past that has evoked these feelings that are similar to what is going on presently? So it compares what an individual has gone through to what they're going through presently, whereas a mentalist does not necessarily consider history because it's not really something that can be measured. Skinner then speaks about the relation to other sciences. Mentalism does not relate to other sciences in the same manner as behaviorism does. Mentalism stops with explaining phenomena based on the statement of pretty much, well, because they are this way, because that's who they are. To me, behaviorism is more mathematical. If A, then B, which then leads to C. Therefore, behaviorism provides a more direct path to physiology, whereas mentalism does not. So, after explaining all of these different areas of concern regarding behaviorism versus mentalism, he sums up by speaking about whether or not it's actually even necessary to make a choice. The answer, to me, is not necessarily. One can employ both mentalism and methodological behaviorism. However, Skinner transcends this dichotomy to combine the two ideas with radical behaviorism. Our feelings don't simply exist, but are shaped through our individual experiences. So that brings us to the section where physiology is discussed. Skinner starts off by speaking about how somatic apparatuses and processes were originally connected to behavior by the Greeks. The spirit and psyche were connected to the lungs because the lungs were necessary for breath. Breath enables an individual to provide unique perspective. The heart was also considered to be connected because of the changes in heartbeat contingent with emotional stimulation. Emotional response from environmental stimulation, that is. When a person died, none of these processes were present and behavior was discontinued. Think back to the explanation of the dead man test. Furthermore, our emotions impact processes related to cognition, which impacts other bodily functions such as activation of the endocrine system. Basically, there's a connection between the mind and the body. So, what elicits behavior? Sensory, motor, motivational, and emotional aspects of what we go through on a daily basis of this behavior, according to Skinner. It is difficult to observe these things taking place naturally due to the fact that the mere act of attempting to observe it may actually impact it. This can be better understood by considering the Heisenberg principle. Nothing to do with Breaking Bad. Any means of observing neural mediation of behavior may disturb the behavior. Therefore, behavior change can take place by impacting the environment, further creating a foundation for the theories of radical behaviorism. So, onto the mind versus the nervous system. The three different nervous systems discussed by Skinner throughout his book refer to the introspective nervous system, which is our communication between our organs. Proprioceptive nervous system deals with our skeletal system and how it's interpreting the environment. And then the exteroceptive nervous system, which is contact with the world around us. These three systems work to receive signals from the internal and external environment, which are sent to the brain, causing cognitive processes related to introspective, which impacts responding. The end result is the conceptual nervous system. The information gathered by the three types of nervous systems lead to a theory regarding an inferential nervous system, the conceptual nervous system, that is. However, advances in technology has enabled the observation of physiological processes taking place during the somatic interpretation of signals provided by the three nervous systems. This eliminates the need for the dualistic perspective of the mind and nervous system. The result of this is the real nervous system, also known as consciousness. So that was the entirety of the chapter, and now a discussion question for you. With so much evidence that environmental change impacts feelings and behaviors, why do you think that the application of medication for individuals is still such a prominent operation? The use of medication appears to be the potential result of inferential processes. If this is the case, why is medication the answer? If we're making guesses about individuals without understanding their history, specific to how different circumstances impact their current behaviors, why are we just throwing chemicals at them? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Signing off from Korea. Talk to you soon.